So good evening, everyone, and welcome to this Red Table Wisdom Talk. I'm Cathy Mines, the Director of Wellness at Reach Yoga, taking my seat at the Red Table as host and call moderator. The Red Table Wisdom Talks are weekly conversations between Kahontakwas Diane Longboat and people worldwide who are looking to participate in exchanges that lift the spirit. This virtual community space is provided solely for the purpose of making Indigenous teachings available in the spirit of reconciliation. Diane is a ceremonial leader, traditional teacher, healer, and the founder of Soul of the Mother, a healing lodge on the shores of the Grand River at Six Nations, Grand River Territory. Kahontakwas, we make our tobacco offering to you with respect and thank you for your traditional teachings tonight.
Thank you so much, Cathy, and welcome to everybody. It's so great to see you, even though we can't be together in the lodge at the fire with our pipes and our drums and songs. I really feel like this is one way that we can make a real sacred connection during this time and support one another and care for one another, but also uplift our spirits, because these are beyond challenging times. Life is changing before us week by week, and those people who want to continue to hang on to the old ways are going to be having a very difficult time. So we'll talk a little bit about that tonight and how to move through these times. Before we start, I wanted to just offer a smudge to everybody here with all my love and my prayers for you, and offer some words to Sangwe Diso, our creator, on behalf of all of us. Nyawa Sangwe Diso, Kanalumkwa, Skana, Kahontakwas Yats. So grateful to you, Sangwe Diso, for this beautiful life that we have, for the opportunity to be a human being at this most auspicious time of change. We give thanks this day for all of the human beings that are upon the earth, the great diversity of human life, the cultures, the languages, and the faith traditions. We're so grateful that we are part of your garden, and that as flowers in your garden, the beauty and the diversity of humanity can be really upheld and honored and sought after and respected. We thank you, Sangwe Diso, for the vision that you had of creating this beautiful place for us here that we call Mother Earth, that you swept together stardust from the most magnificent places in the universe and brought them together here on Mother Earth in the great mineral life that is underneath our feet. We acknowledge all of the living plant life that is here, the oldest form of life upon the earth. And we thank you, Sangwe Diso, for the great diversity of the plant life, for the trees, the ones that do not lose their needles, for the maple trees and the birch and the poplar that give sap at this time of year and enable us to have and experience the sweetness of life, but also bring us medicine to clean us from a long winter. We give you all thanks to all of the medicine plants that are now nourishing us and building our immune systems. We give thanks to you for all the food plants, the corn, the beans, and the squash, all of what are nourishing us at this time. We give thanks for all of the animal life that is here upon the earth, for the beautiful bird life that is here throughout the winter and returning in the spring, and for all of the living things that are in the air, all of those that belong here, those that come and visit us for a short time in the summer. We acknowledge and give thanks to the great waters upon the earth, the salt waters, the fresh waters, the rain waters, and we've had 2 really beautiful days of rain here, gentle rain. We're so grateful for that in the springtime to heal the land, the air, and the water. And we are also grateful for the birth waters upon the earth, that there is always a continuance of life. We acknowledge that there are 4 grandfather winds that circulate about the earth and cleanse and refresh her, and to all of the thunder beings that bring us those sacred waters. They bring us not only those waters to heal the land, the air, and the water, and cleanse the water, but also the lightning to ionize and cleanse the air. We acknowledge those thunder beings for being the voice of the Creator and bringing us many messages and teaching and the ability to heal. We give thanks to those 4 sacred beings that are great teachers that the Creator put in place that are hovering over the earth, who have been lowered here from time to time to bring us back on our path. For we, as simple human beings with ego, have fallen astray, and those great ones we understand are now walking among us. So we give thanks for them. We understand that the stars represent our ancestors, and the reason that they shine brightly in the spirit world is because they have fulfilled their duties here upon the earth, and they have been given a place of honor to shine brightly and to inspire all human beings that we will also achieve our spiritual mandates and one day be walking among those stars. We give thanks and honor to our grandmother, the moon, who takes care of the female life here and brings female medicines, who makes her circle around the earth every 28 days. And we find that there is always a continuance of life with the great medicine that she carries. We understand and give thanks to the great male energy in the universe, the grandfather's son, our elder brother, whose walk across the sky never fails the Creator to bring light and life to the world. We give thanks and honor to the star formation that joins the natural world to the place of peace where we originated. And that star formation is an important one that we will all walk over one day. We will leave our physical bodies to nourish the earth and all life here, and our spirits, our souls, will follow that trail to that place of peace. On the other side of that star formation called the Milky Way, we will find the fires of our beloved ones, our ancestors that are burning there. Those fires are important because those are the fires where they hear our dreams, our invocations. They hear our tobacco being offered and our prayers being offered for the help we need. And the ancestors continue to pray for us at those fires. We give thanks for all of those beings that are seated at the Creator's Council fire, great ones that are spirit beings that help the Creator finish the job of creation here upon the earth. And for all of those beings that have been great teachers, healers, leaders on the earth that now find their seat at that council. So we give thanks for them and for the messages that they are bringing to us. We understand that many people are having dreams at this time. Some of those dreams are powerful message dreams about the changes that are upon us and about how the future will look. And we honor those dreams. Other people are having dreams that are challenges from negative forces. Those are also teaching dreams, and we will, as our spirits become strong, be able to call the Creator's name in those dreams to be able to stop those dreams. So with these words, Creator, we give thanks to you that we have seen another week, that we have this ability to gather here together in the spirit of peace, that we are well, that our people here in this group are well, that our communities are still thriving. And we ask you, Sangwe Dizo, this day to look down on all of the people who are suffering, the most vulnerable, the forgotten, those who have nothing, the mothers that are crying for their children, and for all of the old people that have been forgotten in nursing homes and in care homes. And we ask Sangwe Dizo for your mercy and your grace and for great care to be taken for their spirits as they leave us. And so with these words, we give thanks this day, and we give thanks for life, for health, for well-being, and the chance to be together. Yawa, miigwech. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me in that prayer. I'm going to keep the smudge burning, and I'm so grateful to introduce to you Kelly. Kelly is with us, and she's offered to share some teachings about cedar and the way that she's been using cedar in her own healing. And so I want to introduce Kelly to you. She's Mohawk from Tyendinaga, near Kingston in Ontario, but she lives up, I think it's Serpent River now. She lives up in Serpent River. So Kelly, thank you so much for being with us.
She's not quite on. She just asked for the link again.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, I think she came on and didn't put her audio. So she'll just spin back in.
I'm just going to send her a quick text.
Yep. I could see her audio hadn't grabbed.
Can you turn it on from where you are?
She hasn't got it on her own end. It's like she
Okay.
doesn't have a mic. So we know she does. So. Yeah, you can go ahead and type in where you're from, who you are. You can type in the chat box just while we're waiting for Kelly to jump back on. There she
So while we're waiting for Kelly, why don't we have Cathy communicate with Cindy any messages that you want for Kelly, so that Kelly will be in touch with us. Maybe her internet is not so good either.
You know what it looks like?
While we're waiting for Kelly.
I just got on there, Diane.
Oh,
you're on. Great. Okay, perfect. Welcome, Kelly. So I gave you a glowing introduction and you actually missed it, but you'll have to listen to the recording now. Anyway, I'm so glad that you're here and that you're going to share some teachings about cedar with us, how you've been working with it and how you pick it and how you honor the plant as well. Yeah. So I'll turn it over to you now.
All right, thank you. So I've had nothing but trouble with internet today, so hopefully this works all right. So Ani Sego, Joshua Kikoendao, Mohawk Bay Quinty and Mohawk Bay Quinty, Kelly Nandusha Cosma Quadotum. So hello everyone, my name is Kelly. I come from Mohawk Bay Quinty and I live in Serpent River First Nation. I guess I'll just get right into it. So when I think of cedar bass, I think of the history of where it came from. And one of the things that I've been taught early on is the importance of acknowledging the history. And the last few weeks, Diane's been talking about teachers and the importance of, I guess, training and following those gifts that Creator has given you in regards to responsibility. I don't know why I'm so nervous. Holy. So I'm just gonna talk a little bit about where the history for me comes from. So I moved up into this area in 2001, and shortly after I was introduced to one of the grandmothers here she lived in Serpent River First Nation, but originally she was from Garden River. And I was introduced to her and she started teaching me a little bit about life and the importance of the roles of the women. And I started learning from her. And it's quite interesting because I was sort of, I don't know if anyone's ever done this to any of those helpers out there. That's sort of like the line that gets thrown out there and then that start wheeling you in, eh? She started by asking me if I was interested in driving for her. And to me, I just thought, okay, driving means pack up the car for her. Like it's nice to have a helper and everything, right? So that's how it started. I started packing up the car for her and driving her places. So this woman, she had come from a big history, and I would say when I met her, she probably had been doing cedar bass for at least 25 years. And I worked with her and trained with her for almost 16 years until her passing. To me, I think one of the things about cedar that really helped me in my own journey was that cedar bath that I took. She was facilitating that. and the healing that comes from that ceremony. A lot of people will say, well, what is a cedar bath? What can you tell me what happens? And it's really hard to say what happens because for each one it's individual. For each one it's individual, and it can be that spiritual healing, it could be that physical healing, emotional or the mental healing that happens. Okay. Last week, I was talking with my sister from up in Mishpacotton First Nation, and she said, oh, you're going to talk about cedar baths. You should hand out 73 washcloths. So I'm going to hand out 73 washcloths and just sort of, I guess, talk about the mechanics of it, okay, of what happens. So when we do a cedar bath ceremony, so having a cedar bath, you can do your own, but having a cedar bath ceremony, it starts with that passing of the tobacco. It starts with that request, eh? And what happens is that individual, like, what are they coming for? Because for each person, it's different. So when that person comes or contacts many people that do cedar baths to be able to do that, what's your intention? What are you coming for? And then we pray on that tobacco, eh? And then what we do is we set up, usually if we can, we set up a massage table. That's the Cadillac if you get a massage table. If not, we do it on the ground or we do it, we've done it many places. But normally what we would do is start with that massage table. So when we start with that massage table, we would smudge everything. A lot of times we start with that wagon, we start with that pipe ceremony. Or sometimes we just utilize that pipes as a tool, like, to help support that. Sometimes we're gifted with someone that has song, so sometimes we have the ability of using a helper for those songs. And then what we do is really we make that medicine ahead of time before we even start the cedar bath. But when all the medicine's ready and all the women, usually it's women that do most of the work, sometimes we have men helpers. And we all gather to be able to bear witness or to support that individual. Calling those grandmothers and grandfathers. Calling each one from the 4 directions. So when I think back to what I do as say, a helper, as that creator, please allow us to be able to do what needs to be done today. Please allow us to open that doorway to facilitate whatever needs to happen. Invite those grandmothers, those grandfathers in from that eastern doorway, and we bow in honor and gratitude in each direction for the gifts that they bring. And then we usually start with the head, and we start washing down the hair. We start washing down that hair, and we ask those grandmothers and grandfathers to please allow to take any of those old memories, those thoughts, depending on what the direction is, eh? Allow us to be able to take those things that someone no longer needs to carry. And we take that off the hair and we put it into that medicine. And then we start with the eyes. And again, we ask that we clean those eyes. Sometimes the things that we see or that we've seen or been bear witness to have hurt us in many ways. So we try to take that, if that individual wants to put that down, eh? Then we usually do the ears, those things that we hear. Sometimes it's words that are said to us that hurt us. So that hurt, that pain maybe that we've heard, we take that from them. But also sometimes we say those things to ourselves. Sometimes we say those things, we're not good enough, we're not worthy, we have no business. So we wipe that down, eh? And again, we put that back into the medicine. And then we wipe the mouth, allowing that to be able to, those words sometimes that we say, maybe that hurt people, or we even hurt ourselves with those words sometimes. So we take that from them. But also when we say those words, sometimes it comes back and it hurts us. For a lot of women, even men too, sometimes there's that blocking in the voice. So we clean up the voice, the throat, so that way they're able to speak, say what they need to say. Those tears are always welcome throughout that ceremony. And then we start washing down the body. And really what we're doing is we're just being able to clear off the stuff that we carry, right? We wash down the hands and the feet real good, because those are the things we're very much touchers and feeler people. So when we go out into the world and we're doing our work, sometimes we're picking up stuff that really we don't need. So to be able to wash that, And then once the body's fully washed down, cleaned down, then we take direction of what needs to be done. So for some, it may have to do with old hurts or pains. Sometimes it's that grief and loss that's held in the heart. Sometimes it's the leftover hurts and pains from abuse. Sometimes it's physical healing that has to happen. So it's really, I guess, individual, depending on what somebody needs or is willing to or wanting to work on. When I think of what I've seen in my lifetime, can't be compared to some that have done it much longer than me, but I've seen miracles happen. I've seen people that were maybe at the end of their rope, not knowing if they could carry on in life. I've seen them turn their life around because of just being able to support somebody through that. When I think of cedar, I think like cedar is a drawer, right? It pulls out. Sometimes you see, like at somebody's house, sometimes over the door, they'll hang cedar. Because in that way, when people walk through their door, anything that doesn't belong gets wiped out before they even walk in the door. For some, we may use it as cedar tea to be able to drink. Again, it's a cleanser, right? It draws out. I haven't heard of any compromise of cedar to digest, other than like pregnant women. We don't consider pregnant women to take cedar tea, because if it's a drawer, we don't know if maybe it will draw out the baby sooner than it needs to come out, right? When I think about cedar bath, like I personally do cedar bath in my own tub, or sometimes even in the shower. So I'll prepare that medicine ahead of time. And then sometimes I just go and I wash myself down, same way, right? Creator, please allow this stuff that I don't need to carry, this stuff that's hurting me. Use that spirit of that cedar to be able to do that. I think most people know what cedar looks like, but here's just a small branch, So when I think of if I'm going out to pick cedar, we start off with the basics of prior to even picking. Why are we picking? What do we need it for? And then we offer that exchange, that tobacco, we offer that sema. We ask that cedar tree if we can pick from that cedar tree. We talk to the cedar tree about why we're picking it, who we're using it for, if it's for our own self, or if it's for tea, or if it's for a bath. When we pick down, So this is just a branch and it's come off down. But when we're picking individually, we would pull it down all the time, They say that when we pull it down, we're not actually doing the harm to the tree. So that's why we would pull it down if it was coming from the tree. We don't go in and we don't take the whole tree out. Unless the tree's down and we know that we can harvest as much as we can, then we might take more than we need at the time. Ole, I thought I'd talk like for 20 minutes. I don't know. I for now I'll just leave it there, and if there was questions, I can answer some questions. I seen that there's a few of the people that have been trained as well, and even some people that have experienced that cedar bath. So maybe they may want to share a little too. We also, I guess, when I think of cedar baths too, we also use that cedar bath when that baby comes into this world. We give that cedar bath when they first come in, and also we use cedar bath when our loved ones are leaving. So that way we can take the weight of the world off them before they go. Sometimes we'll do it when there's when someone's in palliative care. Sometimes we work it then. Yeah.
I have a question, if that's okay to ask a question. When you mentioned putting cedar over the doorway, what would you do? Would you put it in a pouch, or can you explain how you would do that?
I guess everybody would do it different. What I usually do is I'll just bundle, like even like this much, bundle
Okay.
it. So cedar comes in that southern doorway, so I'd use red cloth just to tie, and then I could hang it off the top of the door.
Great. I love that. I'm going to do that. Thank you so much.
No.
Any other questions for Kelly?
Go ahead. Yes. Thank you for that. That was lovely. But how is the cedar prepared for the ceremony, for the cedar bath?
So first you would go out and you would harvest. So you would harvest. If you're doing a personal cedar bath, like for your own personal use, I would usually use like, the big pots. I call them potato pots, the biggest ones. maybe about a handful, like 2 handfuls. So I would clean when you pick. So first you pick and you harvest. Depending on where you are, sometimes you don't have time to clean it. I call it cleaning it. So usually we'll pick, and then we'll bring it back to the house or where we are. And then what I do is I call it cleaning it, but I take them apart so it's not a big bundle. I'd say break it down to about this size. But when I'm taking them apart, I'm also looking on both sides, because sometimes what happens is you have little, sometimes bugs, but little, I call them spider's nests. I don't know if that's what they are, little white eggs almost on them. So then I would take that out, right? Because I don't want to be putting that in there. And then I would gather enough for like a big handful like that. And start with your water, put your cedar in, and then bring it to a boil and then simmer for about 15 minutes. Then when I would take out the cedar and then just take the water into the bathtub, so I'd add it to the regular bath. Or if I was just washing down with it, then I would just use a cloth like in the shower. You can also use it, I know sometimes, like I do it with my grandson, is I'll do like foot soaks. So like the same thing, I would do the cedar and then put it in those white tubs. And then I would soak his feet, because again, it's a drawer, right? So sometimes even just by soaking our feet, it can draw out those toxins and those things that maybe we don't want to carry. I seen Denise, I seen a little message come up there, Denise, but I don't know what it was.
Yeah, Denise, she wanted to know, is there a best time of year to harvest cedar?
So I harvest all year round, harvest when I need it. Cedar's one of the few trees that go all year round. So It's really when you need it. It's harder in the winter, especially if you got to go up to not like down by Diane's place, no snow there in February, but where we are, sometimes the snow is all the way up to our waist there.
Thanks so much, Kelly. Really appreciate that teaching. And, you know, I just really want to affirm what Kelly has said. You know, I've seen her teacher in several communities where I've been privileged to offer healing ceremonies at the same time. And, you know, those cedar baths are transformative. They are, every time you use medicine with prayer and gratitude, there are miraculous things that happen. As Kelly said, you know, she's witnessed miracles. So always be mindful and careful with the cedars that are growing outside, that you take only what you need. Be grateful for what you find. And when you go out there and you see many of them, you know, before you actually pick them, there's always going to be one cedar that's bigger than all the others. And we always say that is a chief. And so you address him and you say to him, you know, how grateful you are that they're growing, they continue to grow, that the Creator put them on the earth, that they have a very special mandate to fulfill, and that is to draw sickness from the body, draw pain and hurt and bad memories. And so once, you know, you see that chief of the cedar trees, you know, ask him for permission to take a little piece of his people so that you can heal and you can be a stronger and a kinder and a more peaceful human being. And always leave an offering. You know, in our tradition, we would always leave tobacco. But, you know, if you're walking through and in your spiritual tradition, there's something else that is highly respected and valued, leave an offering for whatever you take, because that's also part of natural law, that, you know, whenever you take, you give something back. Natural law, you know, you only take what you need. Natural law, be grateful for everything that you have. So those are things that we share with you as reminders, because there's so many non-Indigenous people who are really sensitive to Mother Earth, really sensitive to the time that we live in, and the need to be more conscious of caring for Mother Earth. And so, you know, we, in the spirit of all of that, we share some of those basic laws with you so that you'll understand that Mother Earth is alive. And when I say in my opening invocation, I say to you that the Creator had a vision for creating this beautiful place for us, and that the dusts from and pollens from the most magnificent places in the universe were gathered by the Creator and swirled together to make this place where we live. Like that in and of itself, knowing that this place is a vision of the Creator, knowing that there's a great life force that the Creator put inside of Mother Earth to continue the process of life, is so powerful. It is beyond anything that human beings can create. We cannot create a life force. Only the Creator can create a life force. And so what we're seeing now is that with reduced human activity, there's more squirrels, more possums, more raccoons, more deer, you know, more coyotes. They're walking all over inside these cities, you know, and it's just a magnificent testament to the power of Mother Earth, that we need Mother Earth for our life. She doesn't need us for our life. There's no life form out there that needs us for their life. You know, that's also natural law. So we were created as human beings to be able to take care of the Creator's creation. That's our natural mandate as human beings. Care for creation. And the ones who were given specifically that mandate and direction were Indigenous peoples. So that's why our culture looks the way that it does today. That's why these prayers look the way that they do today. That's why our ceremonies are done according to the phases of the moon and the changes in the earth. And so, you know, these are all part and parcel of the reasons why we share these things with you, because when you come here to live on Turtle Island, which is North America, you also come here not just to live well from the bounty here on Turtle Island, but when you come here to live, you come here and you share that mandate that we have. We as Indigenous people have the absolute directive from the Creator that our job is to care for Mother Earth. If you come here and you share this land with us, you also share that duty and responsibility. So these teachings and this work that we do together each week is really important, because you're learning gratitude, you're learning care for the earth, you're learning some of the natural laws, and you're learning to understand that spirit is a natural form of the way we are as human beings. It's a natural way of being. And, you know, just let me say that as hard as we think this first wave has been of dealing with COVID virus, the second wave will be more devastating. And I want to say to you that one of the biggest issues that we're going to face as a result of this quarantine, the change in how things are going to be institutionally run, corporately run, educationally run, health system run, social services system run, that is all going to change following, you know, this experience that we've had globally. And some people are not conducive to having change in their life. And so we're going to see the rise of mental illness. And we are already seeing, you know, profound things happen that we have never experienced before. And so the level of violence, the level of sexual abuse, the level of neglect for those who are most vulnerable. So we're going to have to be well versed in our own spiritual traditions and in our own faith, strong in our own faith, to be able to make it through this next period. Because this was hard, this first wave was hard, but the second wave is what is really going to be the challenging one. So, you know, we're going to witness a lot of things. No matter where you live in the world, you're going to witness a lot of things now where the rise of mental illness is going to be profoundly challenging for everybody. So, you know, it's not only the front lines of this next go around, it's not only the primary care health givers, the doctors, the physical family doctors and internists, but this next go around are going to be mental health professionals and social workers and spiritual care providers who are going to be called out, because there's going to be such profound death and dying around us. So, you know, this is our time together to become strong again. I taught you about how to make a sacred fire. I taught you how to do the sun ceremony, to really bring your minds together and create a relationship between you and the Creator that is real, that is daily, that is an expectation that when that sun rises, that the sun kind of represents the Creator. When that sun rises, you're out there for the first and foremost thing that you're going to do for the day. You are out there and you're giving thanks that you get to see one more day. And it is that gratitude that is going to keep the earth in balance. Let me tell you that prayer that you make, you may think that it's a small thing that you're doing every day, but that prayer keeps the world in balance. That's how important you are at this time period. You're the medicine. You've been born at this time period because you are the medicine that the world needs to be able to heal and evolve and change according to the natural laws of the earth and according to the spiritual laws that the Creator has given to us. Those spiritual laws are the same for all nations. They're manifested in different ways, in different ceremonies, different teachings, different, could be different books. It could be different synagogues, churches, temples, languages, songs, feasts, but the pattern of giving thanks is the same. And so that whole piece of what our relatives are going through now, our Muslim relatives are going through now, Ramadan, is an important time. They're going into their fasting time. They're going into their prayer time. You know, and we came into our ceremonies for the springtime in the longhouse, the calling the sap from the trees, the maple syrup. The next one is, you know, the blessing of the seed ceremony, and then the planting. So all those ceremonies follow the natural course of Mother Earth, and all ceremonies that are offered in all faith traditions are really beautiful. There's none that's more important than the other. They all need to work together. It's like a big patchwork quilt, and you know that beauty and that diversity of how things are moving in the earth. The more people who are praying in whatever faith tradition and language they have, the stronger we are going to be to face the changes that are coming. And so, you know, I wanted to just add those few words to what Kelly had to say, and thank you, Kelly, for those beautiful teachings about cedar. Those ceremonies are profound, they're deep, and when you put your prayers into that medicine and you make your offering and you ask the Creator for something, you need to know that you are being heard and the Creator will respond to you. So I know that many of you on the line here, and I know most of you, you've had an opportunity to work with medicines. And if you want to share some of your stories, I'm going to stop there and open it up to you for your questions, your comments, and also your sharing. And maybe you have dreams that you've kept in your journals. So we want to leave some good time for discussion. Yeah, thanks. Over to you, Cathy.
Thank you so much for all that. And thank you, Kelly. I know that we have a beautiful tobacco offering for you. And we will make sure it gets to the land tomorrow. So thank you so much for that. Diane, your sharings reminded me of the importance of re-listening to these recordings, you know, reminding what you've been teaching us all along. And I thank you again for all of these weeks. It's been incredible. So I am open-heartedly getting your questions here. And I also want to tell everybody, all of your beautiful notes to Kelly and Diane, I send them to them after. So you can keep saying all your thank yous in there and know that they will receive your notes. So thank you for doing that, because I love seeing these. I do have there was a question that floated by around the cedar that I'd like to bring up from Mark. You know, sometimes there's small seeds or cones on the cedar. Would we just not take those branches, or is that okay too?
So those ones there, I've been told that that's the female, and those are the seeds, eh? So they're almost like they kind of remind me of tobacco pods, almost, eh? They're brown and they're round like that, eh? And sometimes when you're looking for cedar trees, you'll see some with a lot of those. Yeah. I was told never, like, not to pick from those female trees, because that's that reciprocal rebirthing that's going to happen, right? So when those pods or those seeds go back down, then there's more trees that grow. So no, I don't pick from there.
Okay, thank you.
For sure.
Yeah, thank you for that. Okay, so is anybody, get out your dream journals, now's the time. Anybody want to share their dream? Type in the chat box if you want to share. We do have we had 2 questions from last week, and as always, it seems to happen, we keep getting everything blends together. I feel like I want to ask the questions and then Diane answers them. But I do want to share Darlene's question because I think a lot of us can relate to that. I've done a lot of ceremony, but I'm still impatient with people and annoyed a good deal of the time. I'm not present to love the way I would like to be. Diane?
I think, you know, I think that's a natural part of the stage of your own evolution. Wanting more and wanting to learn quickly and moving the whole pace along. But one of the things that the grandfathers and the grandmothers always told me was that the faster life gets, the more you slow down. And the reason for that is because, you know, if you get into a fast pace, and I think we've all experienced this, your mind starts to spin and you start to lose sight of those things in your life that are really important. Your relationships, your marriage, your time with children, time with grandchildren, your hobbies or the things that you do for your own self-care. So, you know, that's what that whole teaching means, to slow down and to take that time for reflection. So, you know, being impatient with other people means that you're in that time where you also need to hold up a mirror to yourself, and you have to say to yourself, that person makes me frustrated. They make me feel angry, resentful. Why can't this move more quickly? You know, and then the self-recrimination starts. So it's almost like this wheel that starts to spin. So what is important is to self-reflect on what is it about that person that is making you feel the way you do. And when you reflect in that way, usually you end up holding a mirror, and whatever that person is doing that really irritates you really is something that you're doing to yourself. And so, you know, it's taking the time to unravel that and look at how you can deal with it. Because a lot of times when you want to generate love and you want to be able to be infinitely patient and kind with people, but you can't because somebody's ticking you off, then, you know, usually there's something about that scenario that you need to reflect on for yourself. So it's all a teaching. In the long run, it's all a teaching.
Beautiful, thank you. So I can see Mike and Renee are on, and you know I love to call on the young people. Renee, I know you have a dream, but Mike, I wish if you were not feeling too shy or anything, you would come on and tell us what you've been up to lately, because I think it's special and I wish you would share. So Mike, Renee, can you unmute yourselves?
Hello, guys. Hey.
Hey.
Hello, Diane. Hello, Kelly.
Hi, how are you?
The past month or so has been pretty busy for us. Our initial plans were to drive across the country from Nova Scotia to BC to work on an organic farm, and that all got canceled because, given the circumstances, things happened very fast after that, and things fell into place, and the opportunity to start our own little farm for ourselves has presented itself, and we are going for it. So we've been extremely busy working with the land, just being outdoors, connecting, just working very hard to fulfill the vision that we have to create a regenerative food system that we can use to inspire others and, build community. And it's been going quite well. We've been very busy, but it's been flowing very, very nicely. Things have fallen into place, and I feel so blessed, so lucky to have the connection that I have and the opportunities before me. And yeah, it's been a beautiful unfolding, and we're looking forward to for what's to come.
It's great. Thank you. I appreciate you sharing, Mike. It's good to hear your voice. Renee, did you want to share your dream?
Hi everyone. Yeah, sure. I would love to. I had another dream that I don't know how to explain them. Once again, they're just they're powerful because they're not like the regular kind of dreams. They stay with me, but this one was about braiding sweetgrass. And not just sweetgrass, but other native plants and native species, and how important the conservation of native plants is. So that was it was like a field trip or something. That was the setting anyway, and showing the different kinds of plants in very like an exhibition type setting, and certain grasses, like just I guess now that I'm working with this field of grass, it's amazing when you really look at what's growing. And I think a lot of us can say like grass, like lawns. I don't know, I'm not the like golf course lawn. That's not what it looks like really when you get down to it. There's so many different things growing, and like to learn what the plants are, what the medicines are, and what all the like just amazing. The more you look at it, the more you see. So that was part of the dream, was also the importance of learning to braid sweetgrass in in the traditional way, or maybe the way of Indigenous ceremony. I would love to learn. It's not something I've ever done. I would love to grow sweetgrass here. I don't know if it's possible. Maybe you could speak to that or connect me with someone who could help me out if it's at all possible. Once again, I think Creator is giving us this opportunity to try all kinds of different things here. I want to do the Three Sisters method as well. So I don't know if there's anyone out there who has experience with other teachings that you could even share just the wisdom. I'm open to that. So thank you for once again letting me, Kitty and Kelly and all the elders here. Diane, thank you so much for letting me speak of my dreams and our vision. And for the platform to just share. Thank you.
Thanks so much for that, because I think that one of the things that is part of your destiny is that land, bringing that land to life and creating community there. And you almost slipped away by going to BC, and it was the land that called you back. I'm so grateful for that, because you would have traveled during a time when the virus was beginning to spread at the community level. So honoring that dream, that you're developing a relationship with the land, because it's one thing to be a farmer and to plant and to see it as a resource, but it's quite another thing to have a relationship with the land where the more time you spend out there, the more the land heals you. And you think, oh yes, I'm growing this garden and it's going to nourish me and so on. And yes, that is true. But the bigger truth is that the more that you put your hands in that soil, the more that you grow your flowers and your medicines and your nourishment from the fruits and the vegetables, the more you do that, the more the land has an opportunity to heal you and to make you into a real human being. And that human being is a being of kindness and a being of generosity. And that being does not fear scarcity, because when you said something really important, which is to build community, because when you have community, there'll be hard times, but there's not going to be scarcity, because when you have community, you share. So, you're at the beginning of your life, and to know what you know today and to have the opportunities that you have today is really extraordinary. You have land, you have the willingness and the energy and the well-being to be able to work that land, and you have the elements of community that's beginning to form. So, you need to know that you're doing what you need to do in your generation. And, there's so many people out there that would join with you. You need to know that you're not alone, that, and I was talking to my daughter the other day, so she's 34 now. And I was saying to her, in your generation, I'm so proud of the young people who have an ethical standard. When they shop, they make informed decisions about where does the cloth in this fabric come from? Who made this? Who made this? Was it made in a sweatshop? Was it made, locally? Are we supporting local businesses? How can we keep a chain of businesses going that are micro businesses, that are women-run micro businesses, where they're using the funds to support their families? Like all those ethical decisions that young people are making, like in my generation, we just never even thought about that. So, going into your generation, you're making those ethical decisions. And what my daughter said to me was this. She said, Mom, as much as that is true of my generation, she said that it is the generation under ours that are going to be the real change makers. And she said it's those young people that are in their late teens and 20s that are the movers and the shakers. And she said they're the builders. They're the ones that are going to carry this forward. But it's people like all the elders who are here present. It's people like yourselves who are living the life that will inspire those young people. So your role is really important. And I never want you to listen to what society has to say, because I remember I grew up on a farm, 300 acres. My mother had a 2-acre garden. She canned 700 jars of food for us every year. And my dad had cows, pigs, chickens, horses, and the equipment to farm those 300 acres for oats, wheat, barley, rye. And, I know that in his time period, he never used chemicals on the land. And he never knew the concept of organic farming, but he knew the concept of how to grow with the seasons, with the moon, the phases of the moon, how to use the weather, and he knew how and when to plant. So that kind of knowledge is passed on from older farmers to younger farmers, so your relationships become really important. But that knowledge is also passed on by the land talking to you. And so what you're doing now in this essential period is you're developing your own language in which to communicate with the land. And that is by far the biggest gift you'll ever have in your life, because they'll talk back to you. You talk to them, they talk back to you.
Thank you both. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Diane.
And Mike and Renee, I want you to know that I'm going to share some stuff in the chat with you when the call is done. You've got some support coming through here. Particularly Jody is looking to connect with you, so I'll make sure that that happens, okay? Okay, thank you, loves. Okay.
And there's also some Indigenous people who live near you, because I see Lisa Levi Paul is on there, and her mom. So I don't know how close you are to Moncton, but let's see if we can make a connection between you guys. Lisa, I don't know if you want to say anything.
I had to figure out how to unmute.
Yeah.
I was just sending them a chat message.
Good.
Because that's something that I've been learning in the last couple of years about planting with the moons, using the land as our guide on when to plant certain crops, you know, certain seeds and things like that. And I'm really, really, really new at it. I'm actually killing baby seeds. Seedlings. So I think maybe we can just support each other. And I've been doing a lot of research on that. I also have a cousin that lives in Arizona who's an herbalist, and she's very knowledgeable with seeds and plants and things like that. So she's been kind of guiding me. And there's she's from Akwesasne, I think, Rowan White. And she's a seed keeper, and she has a course that's geared for Indigenous people because it's really about that relationship with the land. It's not just about planting and when to plant things and how to plant things. It's really about finding that connection with the land that you're living on. She talks about, you know, when to plant certain things, like looking for the buds of certain berries to come out, and you know that the frost, you know, that's the last frost, and you can start to plant certain things. It's really using the land. So yeah, I look forward to connecting with you guys.
Well, this is working out well.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, we've certainly been observing a whole lot so far, and we're taking our notes and really taking our time to connect. So we would love to
learn more.
Yeah, we'll love to chat with you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so we'll make sure all that happens, but don't be shy to type to each other in the chat box. All right. How about one last share before our song? Is there anybody else? Type if you want. And I might have missed something, getting all loved up here with the farming conversation. Oh, I want to say good night to everybody from Grandmother Shirley because her computer was cracking up, so she had to go off. But good night, everybody from Grandma Shirley. Anything? Anybody else? And Ralph, I'll make sure that they get that info. Okay, thank you. Kelly, any last words from you? No? Okay. Diane.
So just to thank everybody for your time again this evening and for the chance to see your beautiful faces and know that you're well and at peace out there. And I want you to continue to know that our fire is burning in our lodge. We built a new lodge in 2016. The fire is burning there. Cindy lights it every morning without fail. And so we have pipe ceremonies at 8 in the morning, 8 o'clock at night. And we remember you in all of those ceremonies. So please know that you're loved and that you're prayed for, that you're important in this work, and take care of yourself and your families and your community. It's always, for our people, it's always about not just family, but it's about community. And so, you know, take care of each other. I want to thank Kelly for your beautiful teachings tonight, and for Cathy to always be hosting us, you know, and doing the work in and around organizing us every week. I'm so grateful for that. And so I want to turn it to Guananolo now for our final song. And those songs are important songs because they're spirit calling songs, and they're also giving thanks to the Creator for the continuance of life. So turn it to you, Guananolo. Yahweh. Next week, we're going to be talking about 7 sacred fires and how you fit into that configuration of those fires, your duty, your responsibility, your calling to be part of the changes that are unfolding in Mother Earth. And we'll talk about some prophecies that talked about the changes that we're in now. So thank you. Thank you so much to everybody who joined us this evening and for your continued love and support. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you, everybody. I did type in the chat, if anybody feels moved to make a donation to Soul of the Mother, go onto their website. There's a donate button. Also on my website where we've provided the page for these talks, there's the donation button will take you straight to Soul of the Mother. If anybody feels moved, I was thinking today that I haven't been driving my car. I could give some gas money, like something. Every once in a while it trickles in from all of you, and we're so grateful. You know, it's nice to buy firewood and keep things going. So if anybody would like to do that, the calls are a gift from Kahontakwas, of course, but you know, fact of the matter is a little bit of money is keeping those fires going. So if you'd like to do that, we'd love that. Thank you. So anybody, you can unmute and say goodnight, and we wish you sweet dreams, and we'll see you next week. And as always, oh my gosh, thank you, Diane. So good.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Diane.
Good night.
Thank you, Cathy.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
Blessings on you.
Good night,
Great,
everybody.
great, Marianne.
Thank you very much, Diane.
Good night, Andre.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Kelly. Good night, everybody.
Andre's ready for bed. Sweet dreams in your pajamas.
Hola, Frank.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Good
Thank you. Honey keepers.
Hey, baby.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and end it. Bless you all. Thank you so much.